3, 2, 1.
I don't even know when, but probably 2013, 2014, someone offered to buy a laptop from me at a computer fair that I was working at. And I believe it was like 400 Bitcoin they offered me.
Whoa.
$42 million for a laptop. Did you, in fact, accept 400 Bitcoin for said laptop? Welcome to Sat Chats, the Bitcoin podcast where we chat about sats. Sats are the smallest part of a Bitcoin the same way pennies are the smallest part of a dollar. With Sat Chats, we are building the world's biggest Bitcoin welcome center to serve as your gateway to generational wealth. So if you're brand new to Bitcoin, we want to chat about sats with you. Head to satchats.com to grab your slot in the studio today. I'm your host, Stewart.
And I'm your co-host, Anna Beavon. And with us today in the virtual studio is number 141, Staggsy.
Let's go. Can I get some horns? Like, for anybody who's brand new to Sat Chats, Staggsy has kind of risen to prominence in the comments section of Sat Chats.
For sure.
Over the past several months, I would say. And eventually, and he's like a daily watcher. He keeps me company in the comments, by the way. So thank you, Staggsy. Like every day I refresh my YouTube studio to see if you've watched the episode yet and what you have to say about it. But then Staggsy came on and played TikTok Next Block with us.
Yeah.
And he was sweating bullets on question number 1. And I think question number 1 was, I swear, I literally think it was, we are on YouTube 5 days a week. How many days were we on YouTube this week? And one of the answers was 5. And Staggsy took like the full 21 seconds to try to figure out if it was like a trick question.
I thought it was. I thought it was a trick question, and I didn't want to go out straight away. So.
I'm like, these first 4 questions are always layups, y'all. Like the obvious answer is the answer.
They do get progressively more difficult. And then like you'll go with like a reasonably, oh, that wasn't that bad. And then like the very next question, you're like, oh, I've never even heard of these words.
Yeah, I love that game show. And I love making it diabolically hard when you get to like 12, 13, and 14. Anyways, so then Staggsy decided to come on our show and tell us his Bitcoin story. And I'm so excited for that. And I hope that if you are listening right now and, you're like Staggsy, that you will comment on the videos. I'm hoping that you'll come play my game show. And I'm hoping that you'll then, get comfortable enough to come tell us your Bitcoin story, because Sat Chats is for everyone. Of course, we want the Jeff Booth. We want the Lynn Alden. We want the Michael Saylor. But in my mind, number 141 Staggsy is equally as important as anyone else out there who has a Bitcoin story. So Staggsy, why don't you introduce yourself to our Satillionaires? And then we'll dive right into your Bitcoin story, man.
Yeah, certainly. My name's Tony Staggs, commonly known by my friends as Staggsy. And I'm a father of 2, soon to be 3. The new one will be joining us in January. I live in London, like East London, born and raised here. And do you want me just to introduce like myself in the sense how I learned about Bitcoin, or?
Yeah, tell us about like the first time you heard about Bitcoin. What year was it? Where were you? Did it click or did it not click? How did it make you feel? Like, take us to that moment.
Right. So I first heard about Bitcoin relatively early. It was probably 2010, I think, when I first heard about Bitcoin. Didn't do anything with it, but I remember being online. I used to live online. I'm a certified geek, a self-proclaimed geek, not a nerd, but I'll take the title as a geek. And I was reading an article. I think it was Max Kaiser at the time, who had a show over here. He was a very early person in Bitcoin. He was talking about Bitcoin on the BBC um, way back. Like I think it was about $1 when he was talking about it and telling people literally that well, you need to get on there. And I used to watch his show kind of during my lunch break at work, and I literally watched it. Didn't do anything. But I had a real fascination with money and stuff like going way back. And what happened was I listened to the article and they mentioned about I'm sure it was something about the what we now know as the Genesis block and the article and whatnot. But I can't remember exactly what time, but roughly 2010. But it was just the article, didn't think anything more of it at all until you saw little stories and whatnot. But in 2013, there was a film that come out from Bill Still. I don't know if you know that. He made a documentary called The Money Masters, and that was released like way back now. I think it was 96 that come out. And it was literally about the history of central banking and America. It's quite a long, in-depth film. It's one that I really think Bitcoiners should watch, or if you're interested in how that works. And I'd watched that film, and he was talking about another cryptocurrency, not Bitcoin. And it was something called Quark Coin. And because I'd watched the film and he had like a history of like monetary policy and stuff, what I was interested in, I literally watched that and I put a small amount of money into what we would now call a, I don't want to meme coin type thing. I don't even know if that's all right. You know the S word. I don't want to curse, right?
Crypto.
So yeah, a crypto.
Crypto. Yeah.
Yeah. So literally, I put this money in, and it wasn't long after, probably a few months after, it was rug pulled, and the developers run off with the money. And it wasn't much that I put in there. It was probably at the time uh, probably about £100, so probably about 150, $175, something like that. And I didn't like losing it, but I just thought, it's a scam. There's nothing to this, and I went about my life, you know. Um, the reason that I did that though is, as I say, I was really interested in him, and I trusted the stuff that he had spoken about in this documentary that he had made, and I didn't really give Bitcoin a second thought really. So that was my introduction to it. I used to do like computer repairs and stuff, and back I don't even know when, probably 2013, 2014, someone offered to buy a laptop from me at a computer fair that I was working at. And I believe it was like 400 Bitcoin they offered me.
Wow.
Whoa.
Right, they offered me
Okay. So wait. 2013 or 2014, someone offered to buy a laptop from you for 400 Bitcoin.
Yeah, they're like, we
And
went back and forwards a bit, but yeah, it was roughly 400 Bitcoin, I remember.
okay, now before we hear whether or not you accepted said Bitcoin and hung on to it this entire time,
Mm-hmm.
if we're at $105,000 US, then he was effectively, in today's terms, offering you, this is going to be a big number.
This is going to be rough.
$42 million for a laptop. Okay, so a guy.
That's a really nice laptop.
Right.
Yeah.
So you watch Money Masters from 1996, which is super fascinating that people have been trying to spread the message of better money for a long time. And
Yeah, and I'm really curious to hear why you think, or why that documentary really hit you, because you
Mm.
bought some and then you thought it was a scam, and now it's re-entering your world again.
Well,
Yeah.
but
keep
before
going,
you do,
keep
but
going
before
with
you
yours.
do,
I feel like there's
did you in fact accept 400 Bitcoin for said laptop?
No, I didn't, and I kicked myself.
no.
42 million. Woof.
I feel like that's the name of the episode.
And-
$42 million laptop.
And there you go. Now, why didn't you take it at the time?
Because at the time, um, a friend of myself, we had it's literally a stall at a computer fair. So it was like just geeks coming in and out, buying stuff. And like I used to work in IT. He used to do like the fixing of the laptops. I used to do like the software side of it. And I literally didn't think that there was anything to it. And I just wanted uh, fiat. Like I just wanted cash for it. I didn't think there was anything to it at all. There was a table where my stall used to be, and there was like proper bearded geeks, if you know what I mean. Like, and they used to be there, and they were talking about Bitcoin and the stuff. But I really wasn't interested. I was there to work and I was there to earn money, to be honest. And that was it, really. So,
So you were thinking, I can't go round down the pub with this.
that's it. I
Is
got
that
bills
right?
to pay. That's it. I had bills to pay. And I just didn't think there was anything to it at all. So, yeah, I
Now,
kick myself now.
Anna Bevan, would you classify me as a quote proper bearded geek?
I would. I think so. I love you know how I love the use of the word proper in
Yes.
describing things.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with yes. Yes. New title to you.
Yes, PBG. Now, when you watched, and it said it was Money Masters,
Mhm.
which was a lengthy documentary from 1996. It sounded like, because it sounds like you think that he bought some Bitcoin and then got rugged, but that's not it.
No.
It sounds like the documentarian was going through the problems with our money to then present you with a cryptocurrency called Quark coin.
Yeah.
It literally was. He didn't develop it, but somebody had contacted him, and he was Bill Still, who's still around. I think he's still on YouTube and whatnot. I'm still subscribed to him, but he was very anti Bitcoin. He was a gold bug, and I I don't mind talking about it, but I can bore people to death with this. So I was really into uh, like Ron Paul and the gold standard and whatnot, and that you needed to. And because America is the world reserve currency and whatnot, and how important it is, it still has a massive role to play, even in London, you know, and has that effect. So I was like a complete gold bug back in the day, and like I'm really into history and stuff, and watching that, you know, it goes all the way back to like I won't go off on one because I'll bore you to tears, but the founding of the Bank of England, there's so many connections, and he shows that in that documentary. And as I say, that came out in 1996. There was also obviously the book, The Creep from Jekyll Island and whatnot, that I'd read. And it all kind of ties in together with the whole Federal Reserve and how it was together and whatnot. And I was really into into that. I went down the rabbit hole back then. Um, on my YouTube channel, well, I still like I posted videos many years ago on there, and I think I was talking about it back then, like 2007, 2008, before Bitcoin come out, that we needed a solution and that we needed to return to the gold standard and whatnot. But back then, I had obviously no clue how to do it, and what really kind of gets me, I took my eye off the um, the situation because I had like life to deal with and whatnot. And it was only coming back years later that when I finally stepped and started looking at Bitcoin, it was the answer all along to the problem that I researched all that time ago, but I didn't know. I'd never made that connection there. But um, because this is a show for like beginners and whatnot, I do my wife's head in with this because I'm interested in history. I can go on, I can watch 3 hour documentaries like that film or podcast. Oh, no. My wife doesn't. She's the total opposite, and like she says, what does that do for you? You know, does it make it better that you know that now? Do you know what I mean? So, but I don't know. I mean, into that's the geek in me. So.
Oh, I can relate 100%. I mean, I was doing some budgeting with Kristen yesterday,
Mm,
and
very nice.
you know, just tangentially, I said, okay, because it's not in, you know, we're testing out YNAB right now. It's an alternative to every dollar. Very popular in Europe, my understanding is YNAB.
Mm.
And so I like it. I think it's better than every dollar. I've been trying to get her to look at it with me. So we were working on it yesterday. And I said, now tangentially, just over here on a separate spreadsheet, here's our Bitcoin. Okay. We've been buying $50 a week for, you know, since March of last year. So we got a couple million Satoshis to our name now. It's basically dust by any other you know, Bitcoiner standard, but I love every single one I have. And I said to her, look, we're up like 37 or 38% since we started buying Bitcoin. And by the way, the Bitcoin ETF, which I kind of sold the portfolio and smashed it into the Bitcoin ETF on a much shorter timeline. So it kind of got locked in between 60 and 70K.
Mm-hmm.
The retirement account is effectively up like 70%, Staggsy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I'm showing that to her, and here's what she did. I was like, let me say that again. It's up 70%. Like, how are you not more interested in this? Like, how are you not ready to watch a bunch of Bitcoin stuff with me?
Awesome.
Like,
I feel your pain.
Dude, I think my wife's basically, she's kind of saying, tell me when we're rich. That's kind of what she's come down to. It's like, okay, 30%, 70%, like you got a little BitAxe, like has it mined any Bitcoin? Like, tell me when we're rich. And I'm like,
well, that's a moving target. But yeah, I mean, I would say definitely Kristen's hit me with the high points.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any interest in the geekier aspects of Bitcoin? Or because Staggsy almost is geeking out on the history of money versus like yesterday's episode, he was like technically Bitcoin. Does any of that interest you, or does Bitcoin represent something more abstract as a beginner?
I think right now, the history of money, I think, is really interesting.
Okay.
Because that's new for me. I've talked a lot in previous episodes about how I thought the dollar was like currency and money were the same thing.
Yeah.
For a very long time. Like maybe till January of this year.
Bruh.
For example. Not being super specific or anything. But I also think it's a little abstract for me.
Yeah.
Even though I'm applying it regularly on the business side with Sat Chats, and I'm like seeing how it practically works, it's still sort of abstract for my life. The more Bitcoin I buy, the more regular I stack my sats, or regularly I stack my sats, the more it becomes real.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's probably going to stay abstract until numbers start getting commas.
Oh,
and I
dang.
think,
where my commas at?
I know. I love commas.
Anna Beavon say, where my commas at?
I love commas.
So let's do this real quick, Staggsy, because as soon as you say Ron Paul, Goldbug, Creature from Jekyll Island, Federal Reserve. I know what kind of guy you are. And Anna Beavon, the history of money is new for her. And I think it's new for my mom as well. And you know she's watching your episode and taking notes for when trivia from it appears on TikTok.
Well,
next
he's got
block.
a pen in his own hand. I think he's taking notes on his own episode.
There we
Dude,
go.
we're gonna have you back
I
on the
can't
show.
help it. Yeah.
Oh, I love for my players to win, and I love for them to lose. So it's kind of like when you watch a figure skater, you want them to hit the triple axel on the ice, and you want them to bust horribly and have to control the dismay on their face as they try to get back up and like start getting speed on the ice again. You know what I'm talking about?
Real. I know exactly what you're talking about, and that is very painful.
It's like a figure skater. I want them to win, and there's a Schadenfreude that I want them to bust as well. So we're gonna have you back on TikTok next block, and I'm gonna make a game that's only from your episode.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna sit there and watch you fail against your own episode, and it's gonna be deliciously evil for me.
That's
oh my goodness.
Let's imagine that you are not speaking to your wife. You're speaking to someone who wants to learn about the history of money. You've done so much geeking out on it. How would you simplify the history of money? Even you know, it's not going to bore us. Even going back to the Bank of England or earlier, like what do you want a brand new Bitcoiner to learn about what can you teach us? You know, and get Anna Beavon up to speed.
As I say, I am a complete layman in the sense that I knew nothing about this. You know, I didn't study this at school or anything like that. So it was just a real interest. I had an interest in money, and I had an interest in technology. They're the things that but with the history of money, there's so many rabbit holes that you can go down, and it can feel overwhelming with it. But for me personally, the bottom line is the Federal Reserve was set up against the American people's wishes. If you look back in history, you know, it wasn't ever wanted. It was rejected 3 times. You know, there was 3 other attempts to set up a central bank in America, and it was literally they pushed it through, and it's changed world history, not just American history, but world history over the last 120 years. And it continues to have an impact. For me personally, I don't like to go too deep into it because I feel it kind of scares people. But then, as I say, the film, even though it's old now and the suit that he wears and it's very aged, you know, that is a really good documentary. I still love that documentary. I still watch it every couple of years. I'll go back just to remind myself. He actually come to London to the Bank of England, and he saw like tally sticks and whatnot. But I don't know if you know about that. There was tally sticks were how back in the day they used to keep account. Like it's literally a ledger. It's like Bitcoin or 2 wooden sticks. They used to take the stick, and they would the king would put the accounts down on it, and the stick would be broken in half, and one would be given to the creditor, one to the lender, and literally at the end of the debt, when the debt was repaid, the wood would be destroyed, or the stick would be destroyed in fire, and that would be the elimination of debt. That is how that works. But now, the way the Fed has done it, we are just in like this pyramid scheme of debt. And even if you don't understand it, you can feel it, you know, like the inflation on everything is just crazy. I know you spoke about it on previous episodes and whatnot. And it's the same here. I think it's the same all over the world. And it's just not backed by anything. You know, when there was something tangible, like gold, it doesn't have to be gold, but like gold, you know, that was the scarcest thing in the world at the time. Um, you couldn't just create it. It was hard to create these things. But I don't know. It is really for me. When you start looking at it, it's like Bitcoin. You know, you start just with a little bit, and then you learn something else, and then you'll go to something else. And you know, since I have become interested in actually Bitcoin and not crypto, yeah, let's get off of that. I've learned so much more about it. I thought I knew a lot about the monetary history back then, but you end up just learning so much, you know, like, and I love learning. You know, I did terrible at school, hated it. All right, I absolutely didn't get on at all with that. But I never stopped learning. When I left school, I never stopped learning and like just reading and yeah, crazy.
So it sounds like you said that the Federal Reserve was something that was created and the American people did not want it. Did you hear that?
Yeah, 3 times.
Did not want it. So
Yeah,
you know, do you, because I feel like there's like some people who say, hey, the modern financial system is just, it's just everybody's best effort to try to make a way forward in this wild, you know, galaxy that we live in that's, you know, formless. And then there are others that are like, no, somebody specifically screwed us over on purpose. Do you, are you in that camp of like, hey man, like
I just
some group of people literally decided to make themselves richer by making us poorer?
yeah, I just think it's human nature, you know, the term follow the money. I really believe, you know, human nature, and I include myself in this. I see myself as a pretty, like, honest person, straight goer to, like, but um, power corrupts, and if you put any one of us in that power, we're going to take care of our families. And I think that's what the problem is with the money printer. Once you start printing that money, there's no stopping it because there's always something or someone else that just needs that. You know, my niece needs a new house. You know, there's this problem, that problem. I know it's not like that. I'm just being a bit facetious, but it's like literally they will come up with a reason to turn that money printer on. And you know, in a way, it's good. It's good now that we've got like Bitcoin is I now see as an exit from the system, and that's all good. Saying that, you know, like it's what Jeff Booth um, spoke about, you know, on your episode and on various other podcasts. He says that he doesn't live now he tries to live on a Bitcoin standard and doesn't give power to the system. But it's so difficult to do that because we all have to eat, we all have to live and take care of our families and whatnot. And philosophically, I'm kind of understanding what he's saying. There's part of me that would be there, you know, like Viva the Revolution type of thing. Let's go over the top. But realistically, my kids have got to be fed, and that's the point, isn't it? Like everybody is in that situation in the world, really. So, yeah.
Why do you think, you know, because so far you've described a history of money that doesn't seem to be set up for you and for me to be able to work an honest job, live below our means, and be able to provide for our kids and for our spouses and then retire comfortably, right? You've been describing a system that is busted. But you mentioned that Bitcoin is the exit to that system. Talk to us about why Bitcoin is the exit to this. You know, as soon as you pick your head up and go, hey, man, I'm in this busted system. Why is Bitcoin the exit for that?
Okay. If it's okay, I've got an example of this, right? So the house that we live in East London, it's just a normal family house. Yeah, right. It's not a mansion. It's quite a small place. 4-bedroom cottage that we have here. And my parents originally bought this property back in 1974, and it cost £6,500 back then.
Okay.
Right.
£6,500.
Yeah. So
in
I
the
don't know.
1970s.
Yeah. Right. So now the same property, but I'm doxing myself a little bit here, but like, now the same property is roughly valued at 380 to 400,000. It hasn't changed. It's the same small cottage. It was 100, and this house is about 124 years old that I live in. I know that blows Americans' minds, but my house is like 124 years old. And
Wow.
but it's like that's just the run of the mill here. You know, we've got very old properties here, and we do them up, and they go on and on. But anyhow, right? So it was built 124 years ago, but the price difference is just crazy. So when my parents brought that in the 70s, like as I say, in the 70s, you know, they were working. My dad worked at a supermarket, right? He was a supermarket manager, and my mum did some type of accounts, but she was also a foster carer and stayed at home and looked after children. And what happened was in the 1980s in England, after all of the stuff with the Nixon taking America off the gold standard and whatnot, and I only know this because looking back, obviously I was a child, I didn't know this, but when I was 7 or 8, I remember my parents like panicking and like having discussions about money, and I was too young to understand what was going on. But I think you know a lot of kids grow up like that. And what happened was with the inflation and the exchange rates and whatnot, inflation went up to 80. Like the mortgage rate went up from like I don't even know what the starting rate was, but it went as high as 18% here in the UK. Right, so my parents were not stupid by any stretch of the imagination. They were hardworking people and whatnot, but they borrowed money against the house to survive. And you know that debt cycle that they get in. So roll forward all those years, that £6,500 mortgage that they had originally ended up. I don't even know. I think it was something like 140,000 they ended up owing on there because they borrowed against it, and the you know the rates just kept going. Well, our banking systems are slightly different to yours. When we take out mortgages over here in England, we don't have like 30-year mortgages. We normally have like 2-year fixed mortgages, or 5-year is probably the maximum that you can get. So every time they
Really?
had,
That's fascinating.
yeah.
So your parents in 1974 took on a loan that would buy them a 6,500 quid home in East London, but every 2 to 5 years, I'm assuming you have to renegotiate terms or refinance things. And they also needed to borrow some money in the 90s because our president wrecked Earth
That's it.
by not allowing countries to redeem the dollars for gold anymore. And your parents had to not only continue to refinance through these like nasty rates, but then they maybe took some equity out and effectively had to pay 140 to 150,000 pounds on what was originally a 6,500-pound loan. Dude, that's busted up.
That's
So
scary.
yeah. So the point I'm trying to make is inflation is just kind of mental. It was just like, and yeah, they made stupid mistakes. They borrowed money on things they probably didn't need, but no one teaches you this. We're just like normal working class people, you know. Go to work hard, you know, and that was it. So we ended up, so my parents ended up with that. I took on the mortgage, and I was really into money. So like back in, as I say, 96, 97, like I decided that now I'm gonna get this gone, and I just went for it. And this is one of the reasons why I got distracted from Bitcoin and whatnot, because I just went like I started work and I become a bit of a workaholic, and was um, I was a sales rep for Microsoft Press. I had a bookshop that I used to run, and I used to do like computing and stuff. So I was just hustling and trying to make money any which way. And I got involved in like renting out some properties and whatnot. And to be honest, I totally overextended myself, yeah. And it all went wrong in 2005. You know, like the bank started calling some loans over here, and I just didn't have the the funds to do it, to pay it back. And I made some stupid mistakes. Yeah, like anyone would. I don't know about anyone, but me, I took a path of trying to get out of debt by gambling my way out of the problem, and it didn't work, and I ended up not losing everything. I kept the house and whatnot, but it took me a long time to pay back all of these loans, and got myself into a complete mess with it. And the bottom line is, I managed to keep the house, managed to um, rebuild. I ended up when it was all added up, they said that it was going to take 124 years to repay the debt that I that I had accrued, because I just got myself into a complete mess. That's a totally different subject, but it's like um, I still had to live, so they took my salary, and then to pay it back, it was just ridiculous. And I ended up going to court about this. I'm sorry to go off on a tangent, but
This
I
is
literally,
Yeah, this is
fascinating.
great.
yeah,
Keep rolling.
Yeah.
I literally got myself into financial difficulty. The property that I owned, like it would be, you would class it as an apartment, we called it a flat over here, ended up getting repossessed, and I had to go to court. And what I learned was I had psyched myself up, and I'd gone there to court to sort it out. And I'd written a letter to the judge, and I went there, and they all knew each other. It was really strange. I walked in. I don't know what I was expecting. I'd never been to like court before or anything, and the judge was there, but it was like just rubber stamping things. Like they must have had, I don't know, 40, 50 cases to try that day. They weren't interested in me. They saw me walk in, and it was literally just rubber stamp of like, okay, your house is repossessed. Go and speak to this person. And they didn't want to know about any of like why it happened or whatnot. And that kind of created a beast in me. And that's when I really started looking into like how banking works and how can they do this. Because I admit I made a mistake, you know, and overextended myself. But it's kind of the system. I saw that the system was set up for people to fail, and then the bank took the resources, and it took me 10 years of sort of like working hard to pay that off. They said 124 years. It didn't take me that long. It took me 10 years though, and that's when I kind of stepped away from looking at not just Bitcoin but being online. So yeah,
That's
I don't know.
wild.
Mm,
So you, I mean, the length of time that is possible in Europe versus America is wild because
yeah.
could you imagine assuming your parents' mortgage? That's what he did. He took over their mortgage to where it's not even that the home is owned from one generation to the next. The freaking debt on the home is
Yeah.
passed from one generation to the next. That is savage.
I feel like there's a way here that you can assume the loan of a house. No, not. I think you can with the interest rate, and you have to be in the military.
Mm.
Like there's extenuating circumstances. I think that's possible, but I know very little about that.
Yeah.
Clearly,
and so you took on this debt from your parents because they were effectively a victim of the traditional financial system.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Obviously, everyone plays a part, and you can always look at the part you played, but we're playing our part inside a rigged system.
This is
that-
it. This is
Yeah, did I hit
yeah,
something there?
yeah, 100%. That was it. When I saw that the judge was not interested in it was literally you went there and it was just kind of stamp the form. That's it. Next, and that was it. Like, and I saw like, oh my god, like we're just we're kind of slaves to this system. But that was 2005, I think it was, and like Bitcoin wasn't around then. I didn't know um I didn't know what to do, so I literally just went to work and paid it off. Do you know? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not like you found. I mean, did you in 2005 when you saw that you were inside a rigged system? You know, before Bitcoin, there were a lot of gold bugs. Like, did you pick up any gold? Did you say, hey, I'm gonna buy $50 a week worth of gold? Because the gold bug that I sold my gold coin to in exchange for dollars that I would then exchange for Bitcoin, he's been taking a piece of his paycheck since the 60s and buying gold and silver. And he's like, dude, it was the best decision that I ever made. Did you find any like proto Bitcoin before you found
no,
Bitcoin?
no, I didn't at all. I literally was kind of living at the time. I was living. I started off living paycheck to paycheck, and then I got on the Dave Ramsey plan. Believe it or not, he transitioned. He's over here as well. I remember listening to that, doing the debt snowball, and got myself out of consumer debt and stuff like that. But I didn't at all. I literally, in 2007, the company that I worked for was doing a company share scheme, and I also got like some bonuses paid in shares. So my money kind of just went into that at the time because it was tax efficient, and I was all about saving the money. Um, so I didn't do any like gold investment or that. I knew about it. I don't know why I didn't. I was just kind of getting on with life, and I kind of kick myself now because if I had just taken that time, yeah, that's what I would probably say to people. Yeah, if you just take a little time to learn about Bitcoin or whatnot, you'll save yourself so many headaches. If I, in 2013, when I thought that I was late to Bitcoin and I got involved with Coin and it would be a totally different story now. I wouldn't have had to work for, well, I would have worked, but 10 years of my life went into uh, repaying debts and whatnot for a system that I've worked out or I feel is like corrupt. So I don't know. don't know what the answer is there. Like, but I will say I put myself in that situation. I take full responsibility for it because I was trying to take shortcuts to get to the goal. But now I'll tell you something. Since I started listening to Snapchat, you know, I've started to um, well, first, I bought my first Bitcoin in 2019. Right? It was 2019 that I actually bought my first stat, you know, and it was because I watched something and they broke down that the population is like 8 billion people in the world, and you know, your share of the network would be, I can't remember exactly, but is it 0.21 Bitcoin or something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
you know?
It's like 200 to 250,000 sats. It's
Yeah.
not even a million
So
sats. It's like a quarter million sats is
Mm.
your share. So someone during that time said that to you. Is
yeah,
that what made you say, well,
it was.
yeah.
It was, mate.
Interesting.
I literally brought. Okay, I'll buy my share of the network, and like I did, and I watched it, and I was really interested in that. Um, but just before that, my wife, I'd already spoken to her. She was my girlfriend at the time, and she said to me that I spoke to her about Bitcoin. She said I was paying my debt off, and she said to me, "I've got some money. Like, just can you put this in for me? Do it for me." Yeah? And at the time, it wasn't much money, but she would have been able to buy 2 Bitcoin at,
Oh,
at
Wow.
that time. Right? I think that was
Wow.
2017. And the honest truth is, her dad was quite a big guy, and I didn't want him to think that I was trying to hustle his daughter out of money. So I didn't do it. I didn't put the money in, and like I'm not allowed to speak about that to her now because I still owe her two. I still owe her 2 Bitcoin. So,
oh
oh dear.
man. Hope you have
Yes,
$210,000 handy
Just lying around.
that's it.
to
It's not going to
reopen
happen.
that. Oh my God. So you kind of bought your first sats back at that time, but since finding sat chats,
Oh
has
yeah,
anything changed for you?
yeah. Sorry. Um, since I've started watching, I've now dollar cost averaging. I set up an account with Strike, and this is I can honestly say it's because of the show. I literally started dollar cost averaging. I've put £50 every 2 weeks into Strike. It's the easiest way that I've found in the UK to do it because a lot of the platforms there, aren't here, or they're so heavily regulated. And that was one thing that I started doing. Um, but my average buying in price, because I brought stuff back then, it's probably it was around $20,000. Like my buying price for my share of the network. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
so
Congratulations.
thank you. I've seen so that has done wonders. That has done like really well. Now I'm trying to convince my wife to let me just go full steam ahead. I'm ready to put
Yeah.
my savings and everything in there. I obviously with the kids and whatnot. I'm a dad first, and like I also like the financial stability after going through what we went through. I don't want to get into debt or overextend myself again. So
Mhm.
I'm trying to have that balance of sensible personal finance, but also go across to Bitcoin standard. So the house is virtually paid for now, and now I can just put that money into Bitcoin. That's what I'm trying
Bitcoin.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
trying.
Yeah.
But my wife is, we're working on it. We're working on
Ye-
it. So,
Ah,
I feel like that is every dude on this show. Every guy comes on this show and is like, Man, I'm just trying to convince my wife to let me put my entire life's earnings into Bitcoin.
Yeah, because look, I mean, I tell Kristen, hey, our $50 a week over the past, 18 months, it's up 30%, right? Which is like, it's like the difference between buying $5,000 worth of Bitcoin over 18 months and now it's 7,000. It's like, okay, but if I could put everything in, then all of it would be up 30%. Don't you get it? And if we put it all in, then that 30% would be something would get you interested.
Some commas would start to show up and be excited.
Let me get some commas, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Well,
that's it. But
it feels incredible for me to hear that Sat Chats has helped you reach that equilibrium that we desire, which is to just take a little bit of cash that you're probably going to blow anyways, drive it into Bitcoin, and build generational wealth slowly and securely over time. Like, we're all good. We're all healthy. We got plenty of working years left. Yes, it would be amazing if I could be like number 33 Jameson Lopp, number 27 Adam, number 16 Miles, guys that have put everything into Bitcoin and it has completely worked out for them.
Yeah.
But in the absence of my wife allowing me to yeet everything into Bitcoin, putting in a little bit each week or a little bit every 2 weeks or a little bit each month, it also works. It works more slowly, but it works. And we just have to be patient with that, Staggsy, don't we?
Yeah, that's it.
It's like, I'm on the right track. I am going to get there. I'd love to have it all in. But what I'm currently putting in is still going to help me exit this creature from Jekyll Island trap that we're in.
Yeah, I've said this before and I will say it forever. I love that I don't have to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that I'm making a responsible decision for myself for the future, and I don't have to actively remake that decision every time.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same reason why I love my coffee. We've talked about this. I never have to order coffee again. It comes to me when the weight of the coffee beans get really low. And so I've just put that decision out of my brain and it gets shipped to me. And it's glorious. I always have coffee. I never run out of coffee. And that's what I like about Bitcoin. I've always made a responsible decision.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time it drafts out of my account and shows up in my wallet, I've made a responsible decision for future me.
It's like a subscription to generational wealth.
It's exactly like a subscription.
Yeah. Now, the title for Staggsy's episode is either Staggsy's $42 million laptop or a subscription to generational wealth. It's one of those two.
They're both such bangers.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, you and your show, Staggsy, has been a banger, and we can tell that everything that you've learned about the history of money, your insane story of taking on your parents' debt.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to get rid of it by taking on even more debt, and then trying to get rid of all the debt by somehow gambling your way to a solution. There's so much to your story, to everything you've studied, and to Bitcoin that will never fit it into a single chat about SAT. So we do ask, and you know what I'm about to ask, each of our guests if they would be willing to come back on in 9 months to give us an update on their Bitcoin baby. Staggsy, would you be willing to do that for us?
Of course, I'll be here anyway, so that's all good.
And I get to call him. I get to call him Staggsy because he said his mates call him Staggsy, and obviously Staggsy and I are mates. I mean, we're mates, correct?
That's it. Yeah. I'll class you as a mate.
And I told Kristen that when we go back to London, I was like, I got a mate now in East London. So you know what I mean? It really is crazy, the network that we're building on this show. We're getting to where we know people in Peru, London, Guatemala, America, Canada, like Southeast Asia. Bloopy is over there. Like, it's going to get to where we go anywhere in the world and a Satillionaire will be there to spend time with us, take us to the local spots. I'm really looking forward to it.
My favorite thing about Sat Chats right now is that it is Stewart's personal quest to find friends.
Yeah.
Like, not just casual friends, good friends.
Good friends.
Like,
that I can mostly interact with virtually, so that when my batteries drain and I no longer want to be around people, I'm just already, privately in my house or studio and we're good to go. You know what I mean? Virtual interactions are great because you get credit for being together without actually being together. It's the perfect mix.
That is not how someone who values quality time would view that.
I mean, hey, I'm in the digital age, Anna Beavon, okay? Staggsy and I can be mates over the internet. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, anyways, thank you for agreeing to come back on. Let's turn it over to Ithaca Hummus.
Yes, we are going to taste from our lead sponsor, Ithaca Hummus, which reminds us to
buy the dip. That should be their slogan.
We're lobbying hard for it.
They're going to change it one day for us.
Okay, we are going to act as your taste buds in the studio today, tasting French onion.
Now, I know the English, there's a long history with La France, and it hasn't always been pleasant.
Not ideal.
But so hopefully we did not make the wrong choice.
No, that's all, it's all good. I like French onion.
All right.
Okay, good. Okay, ready?
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's good. Good. Like, it's a little cool today.
Yeah. But
It was hot yesterday. It's a little cool today, and this feels like cozy for the weather.
Staggsy, here at Sat Chats, we believe in value for value, and in exchange for your time and coming on our show, we'd like to make you an offer at your choice between $50,
which is a random garbage currency that has nothing to do with being someone who lives in England.
Adds an extra layer there, or $50 in Bitcoin, which at today's exchange rate is 47,300 Satoshis. What would you like?
I am going to go with the Satoshis, 100%.
Excellent.
Bam! You bring our scoreboard to 143 who have stacked the sats, along with 9 who have chosen the cash. We have gone an unusually long period of time.
Yeah, 112 was
sorry.
our last.
112 was our last. Shuff.
Not enough for Shuff.
I hope we never get to 10 people who choose the cash, because we just take this message out to as many people as possible. So, Staggsy, is there any old where you'd like our Satillionaires to go if they want to spend more time with you? I mean, obviously, YouTube comments of Sat Chats if you want to hang out with the Stagmaster.
Totally.
Yeah, that's it. So you can find me on YouTube. Strangely, my name isn't Staggsy on there. It's still, I think it's Funkar77 in the comments here. That's from an old music thing that I used to do. But anyway, that's a whole other story. So yeah, catch you in the comments.
Awesome.
All right. Satillionaires, if you have enjoyed this show and would like to rate or vote on your name of this episode, which name did you prefer? Click subscribe, help us to get to 10,000 subscribers. And when we do, we're going to give one lucky subscriber 2 million sats. 2 million sats.
2 million. 0.02 Bitcoin. Just subscribe.
Easy. You can also find out ways to support, sponsor, and even join us in the studio, whether it's virtually or in person, in our show notes. And Sat Chats is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. Our guest views are their own. And until next time, keep stacking them sats.
Do them. Stack those sats. Come on.
Great stuff.
Right.
Stag those sats.
There we go.
Stag
even
those
better.
sats. Let's go.
Stag those
That's what Staggsy does. He stags sats.
So just keep waving.
There we go.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Awesome, man.